Welcome to Acquired Taste Podcast. We're back. It's your boy, Dirty D.
It's your boy, Tech Daddy.
And it's Queen Bee.
What's up, everybody? We're back. We actually haven't done that intro in a while, so
No,
Yeah,
we
you know,
haven't.
I was like, I'm just going to kick it old school.
yeah, because we need to get back to at least having like some type of formula for our intros.
Yeah.
So because we're doing like we welcome everybody to the podcast, which is nice, for the new people and what have you. That's great. That part we've been doing a great job of.
Yeah.
We're speaking of which, if you are new to the podcast, we are a history podcast. We're also kind of funny, so at least
Kinda.
I think we are. I find myself hilarious. So we're a history podcast. We talk about little things about history that you might not know about, or people. We haven't done people in a while, so we need to get back to that at some point.
Yeah.
A little bit of comedy here and there. We talk about music sometimes too. We talk about a little bit of everything, really.
Yeah.
But history is our main focus. So if you are new, welcome. We're glad you decided to join us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're part of the cool kids club now.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're going to see if you got the required taste.
Right, the chops.
If you came here looking for information, you may want to fast forward about 15 minutes. If
That's
you
a better assessment than last week.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah, you said like 5. I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah. I'll give it a range this time.
Yeah, about 15.
1 to
15.
20 minutes. Anywhere between there.
You sound like the cable guy coming over to my house. Like, I'll be there between like 4 and 6.
Yeah.
4 and 8.
Yeah, I'll be there between May 21st and August 30th.
Right.
Anytime, day or night.
Anytime between those days.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, it's you lost internet. That sucks. Would suck even worse if I didn't show up to fix it.
You know what would really suck is if you called off work and I just never showed. That would really suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right.
I'm so glad that's like not a thing anymore, like needing a cable guy to come
Yeah.
over to fucking fix your shit.
Oh, dude, when I first moved in here, I had Comcast here consistently
Yeah.
trying to fix my shit.
Come in with the booties on, dude.
Yeah.
When I was trying to set up my like router and modem and stuff, I called you. I was like, help.
Was I able to help you with that?
Yeah, I think so.
I think, yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure I diagnosed what was going on,
I was
actually.
like, I'm not paying someone to come out here and do this. Aaron, please help me.
Yeah, for free, right. Yeah, that's why, I swear, my family has no idea what I do for a living. Because, I'll help my friends out, but, family is, a whole nother level. Because
Yeah.
they expect you to help them for free.
Yeah,
They
you'd be
do.
getting calls all the time.
Dude, I remember when I still worked for Best Buy. The first Christmas I worked for Best Buy, this was back in 2010, so it's been a minute. And I went to my family's house for I think it was Thanksgiving, something around that range. And the first thing that happened was oh yeah, you work for Best Buy now. What's up with that discount? Not even, oh, how do you like the job? Or oh, congratulations.
Congratulations
Yeah,
on
no,
your
fuck that.
employment.
What do we have for a discount?
What is it? What's in your job for me?
And it's funny because my one side of the family was oh yeah, what can you do for me? And the other side of the family was oh, that's great, you have a new job. They were all appreciative. They're the ones I buy Christmas gifts for. Actually, here's the difference there. It's actually kind of fucked up. They'll be fine. Anyways, welcome to Required Taste Podcast. We are going to be going to cover something interesting today. This time, DJ picked the topic.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any topics you want us to cover, send us an email.
Yeah.
Or reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram, or if you know us personally, just tell us in person. We usually, honestly, DJ is the one who keeps the notes. So
Yeah, tell DJ. Don't tell us.
Tell DJ. He'll write it down.
Yeah, just reach out. I'll reach back.
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to give the people what they want, so let us
Yeah,
know what
we
you
try
want.
to.
I got what you need.
You got your red shoes on, everybody?
I do not. I only use those for festivals now if I'm going to a show. Because I just know they're going to get destroyed.
Is there already a hole in them?
All the rubber's coming off.
Yeah, the
Bottom.
Vans.
Yeah.
I wear nothing but Vans anyway, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah, after the last Ride Fest, they got pretty tore up. That's for sure.
At least it didn't rain this year.
Yeah, the rain was before we got there. It's still muddy, but I didn't even wear
Okay.
the red shoes that day. I wore my hiking boots.
I feel like it's
So
always muddy.
Yeah, Ryan
Yeah.
Fest is consistently muddy.
It's like every other year. It's usually at least one of the days.
Yeah.
It's muddy.
Yeah, if you are from the Chicagoland area and go to Riot Fest, you all know exactly what we're talking about right now because that gets, between the people walking, people spilling beers, people just being people, or just rains the day before, the morning
Yeah.
before,
You know what?
every year.
100 years from now, after everyone's done nuked ourselves, future archaeologists are gonna come unearth that area, and there's gonna be shoes. There's gonna be a random left shoe. And oh, there's another one. No, there's another. There's gonna be 500 random people's shoes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They're going to they're going to expect to find like hidden like technology. Nope. They're gonna find like stockpiles of like porn. And
And memes.
toilet
They're
paper.
gonna find where someone snuck into the park and like buried their joints and their like shooters.
Like bags with like alcohol and drugs in it.
You know, the people that actually do bury their stuff in like the park before the show, that's just preparation.
That's commitment,
That's just,
man.
I got to give you props
Yeah,
on that
I
one.
gotta-
That's solid.
And you got to be like lucky enough that they didn't put like a tent over your shit.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's like
right,
where
right.
the VIP section's gonna be or some shit. Because how do you
Right.
know? How do you know the layout? You know,
You know,
it's not the same every year. Even if it's at the same park, it usually changes. You know?
I mean,
yeah, that's a big, it's a big swing.
base of a tree is usually like kind of a pretty safe spot
yeah,
yeah,
I
X
guess
marks the
so.
spot kind of deal.
because I shouldn't be giving out all these secrets.
But like, what if it's
That's
like a tree that's like right in the middle of like all the porta potties,
Oh man,
and you just have to like get your shit out right there?
Hey man,
Yeah, you never know, man.
you know,
You never know.
it's
You
the
know.
risk you take. You know, it's the risk you take.
You know, when I go through like the security, most of the time they don't give a fuck. They're just trying to get you through. Unless you got a big bag, and they're like, "Fuck, I gotta." You know.
Yeah.
And unless you look like me, like if I walk in looking like this, they're like, "Yeah, we need to fucking check
So-
this guy out."
When I went, Michelle, I was with Michelle and Allie, and they all got their shit confiscated. But I had these like loose boots on, and I put everything in my boots.
Hell yeah,
I still had all my stuff.
hell yeah, yeah. It's the way to go, honestly, because like in your sock, something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Because they were getting like their purses checked and whatever.
Yeah,
and, like,
because if I carry a bag and I'm bringing some fucking, some big fat doinks or something like that, I'm not putting them in the bag. You know?
no, dude.
Yeah, they're going in my sock. You know.
Well, that's why whenever you get like searched by the cops, to take you out of your shoes and socks because that's where people hide their shit at.
Not at a festival.
Not at, but yeah, they don't do that at a festival though.
It was pretty funny. There was a guy outside like giving away Slim Jims.
Nice.
They were like Dorito brand Jack's Links. But when we were like, oh sweet, this is gonna be like a little cool snack when we go inside, and then you go inside and they weren't allowing no
what?
food or beverage, so the security table was just filled with all of these fucking like beef jerky sticks at the table.
That's so weird.
Yeah, because they weren't allowing people to bring their own shit.
Just
in.
security's gonna be just getting fat as fuck
Yeah,
later
right.
off of beef sticks.
It's like you might as well just give
Security's
them
like,
all to
I'll
those guys.
take that.
you know,
Yeah,
Right.
I feel like that wasn't even a rule. Security was just like, look, I got an idea, bro.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
let's say.
Endless beef jerky.
So if you've been listening to our podcast for a while, you know that we usually start off with some kind of random question. You know, just to loosen up the podcast a little bit, get us going. You know, a little icebreaker, if you will. And this time we got it provided by B. So B, what's your question for us? What we got going on?
All right. So this, I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this, is about a week and a half old at this point, but it's from TikTok. It's actually a three-parter. I don't know if we want to do all three questions or if we just want to stick to one of them, but let's start with, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
So you know what's funny about that is like I saw like people making reels about it. It's like, well, I mean that's for black people we don't think about Roman Empire that often. And I'm like, I mean I think about a lot of things pretty often. Don't limit my thoughts, bitch ass. Anyways, I didn't say that like well black people don't do that. Yes, we do. God.
Box, goddammit.
All right, don't put me in a box.
We do whatever we want.
I do what exactly. I do whatever the fuck. Emancipation. Anyways, do what I want. I think about what I want. My mind is free of my own volition.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, so response to that question. Actually, I don't. It's like maybe like once or twice a week I'll think about something that reminds me of like something I learned about Rome. Because I know a lot about it though. Because I studied it in college. So like I have a lot of detail about it. And also because the closest thing to the Roman Empire that we have is our country. Because Roman Empire was a melting pot, obviously, like of all these different nations combined into one. All these different like cultures, religions, peoples were this one massive empire.
And it fell.
And it fell. So, and all due to a lot of greed, corruption, a really, really bad economy, and a lot of war. So,
Oh, that sounds a little familiar.
so in that case, that's because I could draw parallels between the two, and that's why I do think about. I mean, a couple times a week, though. You know,
Yeah, I
rolled.
think that. Wait, what was your initial answer? Because I texted both of you.
You did, yeah. I forgot what my initial answer was.
Let me see. I'll look it up. What was your answer, DJ? Do you remember?
I think like 6 times a year.
Damn.
Maybe.
I mean, that's like I feel like
Like-
if someone would have asked me how often does the average dude think about the Roman Empire?
Hmm.
I probably would have been like, I don't know, once a year? What? What are you talking
I
about?
was like,
I say a few times a month.
and that's probably only because
actually.
of like I see something visually that reminds me of it, and I'm like, you know,
This one dude on the real app was like, "Well, black people don't think about that. We think I think about the Polynesians." Da, da, da. I'm like, I mean, yeah, they were great explorers, but the Polynesian Empire also fucked themselves royally. And so we have Easter Island, with all the heads and shit. Yeah, so the thing that people don't really speak about when it comes to Easter Island is the fact that they actually killed themselves. They literally killed themselves. And the reason what happened was, so obviously Polynesian Empire, I'm going to get real quick with this. Polynesian Empire, they spread out. They were great explorers. They were amazing at exploring. They need to be talked about more often than Christopher Columbus' dumbass. So, but one of the things is like Easter Island, they found this island. They started making these like giant, statues for the guys or whatever they made it for. I'm not the most familiar with what those represent. But anyways, the problem is though, is that they used so much wood and so much natural resource that the island had to make these statues that they also couldn't make boats anymore. So they got stuck on an island by themselves. And without the ability to go and, out fishing or go out exploring or, they essentially made all these statues and then starved to death.
That's unfortunate.
damn,
Yeah.
that sucks.
It's like,
Anywho.
have you ever played Don't Starve Shipwrecked?
The what?
It's a
Sounds
game.
familiar.
So it's like you explore all these different islands, but you have to have a boat to get off the island. If you don't have a boat, you have to get resources to like craft one. But then like if you end up on an island that doesn't have the resources to craft a boat, and then your boat breaks or whatever, you're just fucked.
Oh, damn.
You're just fucked.
Yeah, it's kind of like that because a lot of the natural resources that you have there, like a lot of the trees that could bear fruit were taken down to build stuff or like to build houses or to build things to transport these giant heads everywhere on the island.
Yeah, what the hell's up with those giant heads?
Yeah, see that I don't know enough about
do
that.
an episode about that.
Yeah,
you
did you write that down? And then,
Yes,
so
we
the
can.
second part of the question, though, like obviously the Roman Empire for dudes.
Wait,
So then
giant heads. What about them?
Easter Island.
Easter Island, yeah.
So then, what would be the woman equivalent of that?
So
Because I always said murder mysteries because
Yeah,
y'all
well,
love
yeah.
serial killers
But like I feel like everybody knows that. Everybody knows that all of us girls think about murder
a lot,
like on a regular basis.
like a lot.
It's I mean, and if it's not like true crime murder, it's like, are we gonna get murdered?
Well, yeah,
Do we want to murder someone?
mostly that.
Yeah. So it's that, or someone on TikTok had said the Salem witch trials. And I was like,
Yep.
personally for me, I mean, yeah, kind of.
Well, I mean, because like the whole thing now is for all these women to be witchy and shit. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the thing. And then
about
also
right.
like you think about just like the default historical like discrimination against women, like just men making shit up so they can control women is like the Salem witch trials.
She had a free thought.
She
Witch.
I wanted to bang her and she said no because I have a wife and children. She's a witch.
She's a witch. She learned how to read. A witch.
Witch.
I just imagine like just the girls at like a cafe or something, and the guy's just like fucking side-eyeing her. Like she's just like, oh shit, like slowly backing
Like-
up, and he's like, witch.
I didn't do anything. Did nothing. Speaking of which, we need to cover the Salem witch trials for spooky season.
Yeah, we're doing it again. I think we did partially last year. We did some stuff for Halloween in October. We're doing that again this year. So be prepared for all of 5 weeks of 5 Tuesdays of next month for it to be a spooky topic. You're welcome in advance. It's gonna
Hell
be pretty
yeah.
great though. It's
Hell
gonna be
yeah.
a
It's
fun
coming.
time. It's gonna be a real fun time.
It's coming. But so for your initial answer, you said at least 3 times a week.
Yeah, that's about. I can see that.
Yep. And DJ said maybe 6 times a year.
That's the same answer you gave. Okay,
Yeah.
that has not changed.
Yeah.
But and also I watch a lot of documentaries too. Like I don't watch much TV. I watch sports and documentaries. That's about it. And anime, but
For some
Star
reason,
Wars.
like that history, I'd never really dove into. you
There's
know?
so much of it because it was around for a while.
Well, there's a lot of people too who like I've asked this question to, and they for whatever reason conflate like the Roman Empire with Greek like mythology.
That's
And
weird.
so like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, like I think about Hercules, and I'm like,
That's Greek, dog.
Close.
Well, I mean, because the Romans built their empire on the back of that, and also a lot of their gods and goddesses were very, very similar. And then and even like the whole religion thing, like with Rome. Here we go again. Like when you had like the what was it? Constantine, Emperor Constantine versus the other two dudes whose name I can't remember, the triumvirate thing going on. And there were three rulers, and one was a Christian, the other two weren't, and there was a big war about it because Constantine was the first emperor baptized in Christianity, and there was a war about it because it was we want religious freedom for everybody. He was like, no, Christianity is it. Screw the rest of you, and they had a war about it. And Constantine actually won. That's the whole
kept doing that for all of eternity.
Yeah, well, you know, it's yeah, no. Anywho, we avoid religion on this channel for reasons, and that's going to be one of them.
But you know what's not off limits in our after show is pretty much anything.
Yeah, that's true. We do. We have the show Aftertaste for starting up. We have a Patreon for it. You can find us on there. Go ahead and give it a look see, and a listen see.
First episode's free.
The first episode is indeed free, and we're going to be recording some new ones here soon. So check that out as well.
Yeah.
So, Deej, you picked the topic for today, man. What we got?
Yeah, you know what? This one's kind of a nice little transition going into spooky season because it's got history. And it's called, it's got a spooky name, you know, so I guess that's kind of fucking cool. We're going to be talking about the Demon Core today.
And that's not a new TikTok aesthetic, as I was incorrectly assuming.
Yeah, so you thought it was the TikTok aesthetic. My first thought was the male prostate. I'm like, like a forbidden core, the male prostate. Just put a finger up there.
Oh man, I just almost snorted.
Just put a finger up there. Men over 40 get your prostate checked. Very important.
Yeah.
Anywho, so go ahead.
I know what we're going to be talking about on Aftertaste.
I mean, me and DJ both had ours checked, so that actually could be a topic.
Yeah,
good times.
Worked me like a Chinese finger trap.
Dude, my doctor, fat fingers. So he's a very short, fat finger Jewish man, and I lost. Yep.
Lost your innocence that day.
Yeah, just take it from me. If you've ever seen the Family Guy episode about that, like I had that in my head the entire time when Peter got his prostate checked. So like trying not to laugh as another grown man has his finger in your bum. It's a whole new level of shit right there. Anyways, Demon Core. What is it? What it was about, man?
Yeah, so the Demon Core, of course we know after Pearl Harbor, they wanted to fuck around and find out. So we let them find out. And we had dropped not one, but two nuclear explosions on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Or as Aaron calls it.
We showed Japan the sun. Up close and personal. Land of the rising sun right in front of your face.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You're welcome.
We made them create anime.
Yeah, you like literally bombed them out of samurai into anime. Like...
And then, like, okay, so the really crazy part about it is, like, Fat Man and Little Boy were the two nukes that we dropped. And a nuke, like, the basic principle of a nuke is a plutonium or uranium core. It's about 14 pounds. It's about the size of a kettleball, like a 10, 15-pound kettleball, about that size, if you could imagine. And that's, like, the heart of a nuclear explosion. And this is caused, we've talked about this before in some of the past episodes to do with some of the nuclear scientists. We talked about Oppenheimer and stuff like that. When they figured out nuclear fission, they figured out how to get these neutrons to chain react off of each other via explosion, which was the nuke. They could set off this plutonium or uranium core, whichever it was, by detonating it. And the reaction was what we saw in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But we had made 3 cores because we were going to hit them a third time.
I mean...
Didn't need to.
Well, we thought they were going to run out the first one. Yeah. And they didn't. So,
which is wild, but okay.
I mean, after we lit their capital city on fire, after how many thousands of people died, they still weren't... It wasn't enough for them, so...
Never surrender.
And then they got shown the sun... in person, in 4K.
We were like, I don't think you got a good view.
You see that over there? Here it is in front. They said Land of the Rising Sun.
Yeah.
Here you go.
And then America is basically standing on top of Japan, like, you want to fuck another one?
Right, like, are you done?
I got one
You
more.
gonna chill out, man? Are you gonna chill out?
Right.
You done?
Say uncle.
Yeah.
Uncle.
So, uncle. Gotta love Jackie Chan movies.
Damn it, man. He's Chinese.
But he says that in the movie a lot. It's hilarious. So this third one, this third plutonium core that was never used as a nuke was...
Did you say plutonium?
He did.
Did I plutonium? Plutonium. It's American English, and I still can't fucking get it right. So this third core, which is what we're going to be talking about, the Demon Core, was never used. So of course, military was like, well, let's let's play with it.
Let's use it as a racquetball.
Yeah, let's do some science on it.
You guys
Makes sense.
ever do shot put?
So they took this core to our favorite scientific laboratory that we've talked about several times on here, Los Alamos. This is the same place we've talked about Oppenheimer doing his experiments where they first discovered fission, nuclear fission. Same place where a lot of the scientists are working on the Manhattan Project. You know, we've talked about it a bunch of times before. So yeah, in 1944, they started doing experiments on this thing. Now, these cores are like super fucking sensitive, and like they don't just detonate. There's certain like scientific principles why it has to detonate. But as far as like transport, the way they used to like move it around was like they had like nickel plated walls that they could put over this thing to transport it from A to B. You know, so they get it to Los Alamos and they
put on oven mitts and just kind of like.
Actually, no. But no. Yeah, we'll get into that. These fucking guys were really doing it.
Oh, no.
So what they wanted to do basically is they wanted to figure out how close they could get this nuclear core to reach critical mass without it exploding.
Play chicken with a nuke?
Yeah, quite literally. Played
Awesome.
fucking Russian roulette, you know? So they were like, instead of because in the nukes, they had to use a detonation to cause the first explosion to get the neutrons to chain react off the other neutrons. And they discovered there's a different way we can do that by using reflection, using some kind of thick material over the core to reflect the neutrons back onto each other to self-contain critical mass. So as opposed to the mass blowing up and expanding, it would be constantly contained into this core. Because who fucking knows? They're trying to fucking do some Marvel shit. They're trying to find the first Infinity Stone or some
I
shit
think
like
so.
that. You know what I mean?
Because like what happens if they overshoot? You know? It's like...
Yeah. Well, they did a few times. So there's a bunch of different ways they try to do this. The first guy that worked on this was a physicist that was already at Los Alamos, and he was also involved in the Manhattan projects, and he was Otto Robert Fish. He was basically using tungsten carbide bricks, and these bricks were like 9 to 10 pounds. If you've ever worked in a steel mill and been inside of a furnace, you've probably seen similar bricks to like this. They're bigger than a larger brick, and it looks like it has like a sheet of metal over it, coating it.
Sure.
So there's pictures of it that we'll post. So basically, he was going to slowly cover this sphere with these bricks, like building these bricks around it to start closing that critical mass, getting it lower and lower, building the pressure up more and more. To see how close they could get, like I said, before they reached that point. And as the process was going, they were going to test the radiation that was emitting from it. Because now it wasn't going to explode, but it still was emitting high levels of radiation. So Robert Fish probably... I was having a hard time finding how much radiation exposure that he had. But he had what is known to... the largest acute dose of radiation that any human has ever experienced and lived from it.
Okay.
Because he was getting close to critical mass with the bricks and had reached a point where he felt it was too dangerous, had started removing the bricks, had suffered some, reactions from radiation poisoning, vomiting, skin rash, burns, things like that. But he didn't die. But he was basically like, they have him quoted saying, like, you're basically like tickling the dragon's tail, like by doing this. Like, we should not be testing this science anymore. And so Los Alamos was like, well, that's fucking gay. We're going to get a new guy in here to do this shit. And,
we're like, hey, dude, stop.
Yeah.
Why are you being weird, dude?
Why
Like,
don't you stop being a fucking loser?
You don't
right,
want to douse yourself in radiation.
right. Like radiation poisoning.
Fucking pussy.
Be a man.
Yeah. What are you scared to be a fucking hero?
Like, have you never read the Hulk?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Hulk wasn't out yet, but still.
Yeah, like this is how like all of our great fucking superheroes starts. You know?
I mean, yeah, that's how they get their powers, you know?
yeah. This
I mean, literally, the Hulk was radiated.
Yeah.
So,
That was his
like,
thing. Okay. I remember recently listening to a podcast about a guy who got like a super dose of radiation somehow. I forget exactly how he was like, but like his whole body was like it was bad. Like his skin was like melting off of him, right?
mhm.
And for whatever reason, his doctors like decided to keep him alive and like just experiment on him.
Just gonna do a
They're like-
couple tests real quick.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this guy, he just got a massive dose of radiation and he's in massive pain and is suffering immensely. Let's poke him.
Well,
Let's put water on him. Let's put gasoline on him. Let's put all this crap and see what happens.
well, if you look at what happened with Japan after the bombs went off there, the United States went there for aid, quote unquote. But they, honestly, the United States did help rebuild Japan after the two nukes went offshore. But at the same time, though, there were doctors and scientists there looking at the effects of radiation on humans. So,
Yeah, this guy, Hisashi Aoshi, was kept alive for 83 days after absorbing 17 sieverts of radiation, the highest level for any human being. Doctors kept him alive via blood transfusions and stem cell grafts.
Oh God.
He suffered 3 heart attacks, but
Yeah.
each time doctors revived him.
I'd be so pissed if he could move. Like,
Yeah. Like,
because because your radiation poisons your blood. That's why we have radiation treatment for cancer, but it is poison. It's poisoning you.
Yeah.
So the fact that they kept giving him blood transfusions,
Yeah.
to remove the
him
poison,
alive.
because your body's going to keep producing these messed up cells. It's going to happen. But the fact that they kept using new blood, that's just torturous
That's
at this
some
point.
evil shit right there.
You found a picture, didn't you?
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, there's some pictures on here.
You've seen it. Oof.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that's
Let me get a glimpse of that.
looks like beef jerky.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, that looks like if somebody made like a wacky inflatable out of Slim Jims.
That it looks like. I mean,
Holy shit.
because it looks like a movie. It looks like something you would see in a movie.
Yes, this doesn't
Yeah.
look real.
Like it doesn't look like that should be. That's
Oh my
Nicely cooked bacon.
God. Please don't look this up. For
Or
all of
do.
you out there, please, for the love of God, do not look this up.
If
Or
you don't
do.
look at it too close, it's not as bad.
Oh yeah. Well, I think she's still looking at it.
Yeah, are you still looking at it?
No. I'm putting it away. I'm putting it away right now.
Yeah, that's just that's insane. That because obviously with that name, was he part of the atom bombs?
I don't
From-
know. Let me
Because
see.
that name is very Japanese. So.
Oh yeah, let me see.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's what it is, because again, that's what I mentioned before about America going to Japan for aid, quote unquote. And like I said, the U.S. did help them rebuild. It's just there were also people over there doing some stuff that they probably shouldn't have been, because they were like,
yeah.
well, we have this perfect example of what happens when you irradiate a whole country. Let's look at them and see what happens.
Yep, naturally.
Indeed. So yeah, Gary, I'm sorry.
Okay, so that was the first scientist, like I said, who studied this. He said, "Bad idea, guys." The military was like, "Pfft, next."
Really quick. Hisashi Aoshi was a nuclear fuel plant worker.
What year was this?
1999. This was in 1999.
There's-
They did this to
There's
this
quite a
man.
few.
Oh, there should be a law against that.
I'm certain there probably is now.
I think there's.
Oh, it's
like,
not a work on the first time.
I think there's quite like literally close to 60 cases of critical mass radiation poisoning like from the point of what we're talking about now until close to around 99. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was 3 Mile Island was one of them.
Yeah, Chernobyl.
Chernobyl was another one.
There's a list.
Didn't we have another one happen recently with a tsunami in Japan that core fell into the ocean? That's actually still spilling radiation.
Yeah.
That we just don't talk about anymore.
Yeah. Did we talk about Chernobyl?
No.
No, we haven't.
DJ, write it down.
DJ, write that down.
Chernobyl. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't had that down, actually.
You know was the worst part about it is, and the people that know us in person will laugh at this, because like the most blind person we know is the one that takes all of our notes.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense.
Okay, he's got his minion glasses on today.
It's true.
Minion ass looking.
We should have a shirt that, like, instead of like "Let Jesus take the wheel," it's like "Let Dungy take the wheel."
Nobody needs that.
I was thinking we need a shirt.
The last time Dungy took the wheel, I got shredded in Valpo.
Well, I didn't take the wheel technically.
I was thinking we need a shirt of just like a cell phone, and then DJ write that down.
I
like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
We have a lot of shirt ideas that we just have not done anything with. If you are yourself or know an artist that's willing to draw up some of our wacky ideas,
let us know.
Please let us know.
We have the best ideas for merch.
And
we have no way of making these
have
happen.
money. You know, like we'll pay for art.
We have one Patreon subscriber.
True, but still, like we all have jobs. We can throw in some money to pay for some good art. So if you or somebody you know is an artist that wants to draw some just really just dumb stuff, please let us know. We'll be happy to work with them
for sure.
Anyways, carry on, DJ. I'm sorry.
So they brought in another scientist to work on this, which was
there you go.
Harry K. Daghlian. That's a weird pronunciation from the name. So this guy was going to do the same process that Otto Robert Fish was doing, but instead of using tungsten carbide, he was using beryllium bricks. I'm not exactly sure the science why that might have been better or not, but it was one of these thick materials that they thought could contain the critical mass. So this is on August 21st, 1945, while conducting this critical mass experiments and placing these bricks around. He had a couple of scientists with him that day, so he's slowly building these bricks around. So like I said, imagine the little small ball and you're building bricks around it. And he gets really close to a point of critical mass and he decides to call it. We did good today, boys. Let's write the notes down. Cool. Later that night, Daghlian decides to go back by himself because he was so enamored with the results.
Never a good idea.
He got a little taste
going alone.
Yeah, he got a little taste of that power, man. He was
that's the moment in every superhero movie where like the villain is born, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's on this science experiment and there's all these people working on it and he sees the power and he's like, come back.
I can feel it.
And then he goes back alone later that night and then the explosion happens and he turns into a lizard.
Yeah, this like reading some of these stories, it's like, oh, that's where they got it from.
Yeah.
Wow, you know. So that's pretty much what he does. He goes back alone, or what he thought he was alone. For the moment, I'll leave it at that. So he goes back and starts the experiment again. He starts building the bricks. Of course, while slowly trying to place one of the last bricks, he had dropped the brick and it had completed the seal and had caused critical mass. So when this particular critical mass happens, like I said, instead of it being reacted by an explosion, it's reacted by reflection. So it causes this reaction that causes an extreme blue flash.
Is it like? So they're like it's mirrored on the inside, right? So it's like reflecting back.
Yeah, these bricks are like they look silver. You know?
And then once it's sealed, there's nowhere for the reflection to go. Is that what I'm assuming?
And that completes the critical mass to the point. Like I said, they're trying to get close to that critical mass to see, like, just to measure radiation, all that stuff to control it without getting there. And he fucked up. So because they really didn't have a protocol that was like, okay, in case this happens, like let's put a little like something like a gasket in between so you can never have a complete seal. They really hadn't got to that point. So, like I said, he hits it. The blue flash happens, but like I said, it's not an explosion. It's just a flash. So it's like kind of a little bit of high heat, like similar to getting like a welding flash burn.
Mm.
Imagine like that,
He's like, whoa.
Yeah, so he kind of knocks
That
the
was
brick
interesting.
away real quick to die it down, and but it was too late. In the moments that it had happened, he had experienced how did they label this? How much fucking radiation? 510 rems of neutron radiation, which is a lot.
I'm just going to assume that that's a lot.
Quite a
because I don't
lot.
know what a REM is. But
No, I'm not familiar with that unit of measurement.
So I was trying to find a measurement that was similar because the next gentleman I'm going to be talking about received double that.
oof.
Okay.
Yeah, and to kind of give a rough estimate, I'll kind of have to wait till I talk about him to
Sure.
compare how much radiation he got. But Doglian had experienced a lot, and he wasn't the only person that was in the building at the time or in that same room. There was a security guard working that night, and what is his name right here? Robert J. Hemmerly. He was sitting at the desk that was pretty much right outside of the office that Daglian was working. Daglian had experienced an extreme amount of fucking radiation. 25 days later, he had fell into a coma and died of organ failure.
Damn.
The hand that he used to swat away the brick, if you look at pictures of it, like he looks like Leatherface's face.
Ugh.
Like that's what his hand looked like. He had experienced a severe burning and disfigurement just from the hand that got close to the critical mass.
So, like, beef jerky guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was his hand. And like you asked about the gloves, they weren't wearing no motherfucking gloves.
They couldn't even
when they were
put on some oven
Well,
mitts?
yeah,
Yeah,
probably not.
They're doing these
It's
tests.
the 40s, so it's like,
straight up.
Jeez.
The dude in 1999, that still messes me up though. Like, did he have a
know.
family? Like, did nobody come looking for this man?
No, okay, wait.
That's crazy.
Unless I read this wrong. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. Unless I read this wrong, the experimentation was done at the request of his family. Like, wait, hang on. Let me see.
Did they hate their father?
This was all done at the request of his family.
Why?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look more into this.
Yeah, like get back to us on that
I
because
will.
like
Yeah,
Because I remember
Jesus
just
Christ.
reading a little bit about it and then just being so flabbergasted by it. But I'm gonna have to do like a deep dive because this is wild.
yeah, like we hate our like that man, awful person. Go ahead and do what you gotta do.
He was a dick.
Right. I
Whatever
mean,
you
because that
want.
doesn't make any sense.
So like, and then the measurement they use in this is sieverts.
See,
SIEVERTS. He said it was 17 sieverts of radiation. So I don't know. It's just
That's
like a
three
different.
different versions of measurement I heard of like people
Yeah.
doing radiation.
and you said what was yours?
510 REMS, REMS,
All right, carry on. I'm gonna
or
look into this.
5.1 SV.
Oh, okay. So one sievert is equal to 100 rem.
Oh.
Hmm.
So wait, how much REMs?
510.
So this is 17 sieverts.
Versus
Ooh,
5.
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
This
that
guy
dude.
was
That dude caught it.
roasted.
That's fucking.
That dude definitely caught it.
And it's weird because they talk about like the blue light flash and stuff like that in this as well. So
Oh, you know what? I'm just realizing right now. I talked about Robert Fish getting the highest acute dose of radiation. It wasn't him. It was Daglian that got the highest acute dose of radiation. Otto Fish did get a small amount, but not enough to kill him.
wow.
So yeah, good job, Otto. But yeah, Daglian, quite literally tried to do the mad scientist shit, and he fucking died of a horrible death.
Well, as mad scientists go, that's kind of typical.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, U.S. military was like fucking loser. Next, and they got another scientist to jump right in.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Did they tell them what happens to the one with their job prior?
So this next scientist,
They're like, so why is this position vacant? Seems like a really good job.
They're right. Like, oh, you're going to pay me how much money?
yeah, that is what you
Ridiculous.
would think. But this next scientist that came in was considered like a cowboy scientist. He was like really known for like quite literally wearing cowboy boots and blue jeans and smoking a cigarette. He was like a Hunter S. Thompson of fucking scientists,
Yeah.
And of course, he really, really wanted to work on this fucking project, So this is taking us to 1945. This is Louis Slotin. He takes over command of the research of this critical mass experiments. May 21st, 1946, he's doing another type of test. Now, before they were using the bricks, right? And then they changed it from the tungsten carbide to the beryllium. Mm-hmm. Now they changed the beryllium bricks into two halves of a sphere. So it's like a Russian nesting doll. There's the original plutonium sphere, and then they have a half sphere on the bottom of it that they can rest it in, and they're going to slowly lower the top half to cover it. That's how they're going to get critical mass. Thought it was a better way of doing that, you know.
There's pictures of it here.
So for a failsafe, what they had was a very thin piece of beryllium to use as a gasket. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they had a little thin piece of gasket to use just in case they dropped it, that it wouldn't hit that critical mass.
Sure.
So that was the protocol. This cowboy scientist was well known for doing things like very unorthodox, and he was not doing that.
Like, I don't follow the rules, y'all. I'll do what I want.
So, like, if you would imagine them lowering this thing down, you would imagine they probably had a couple guys, you know, some gloves, they have some tools. This guy quite literally would be like have a cigarette in his mouth, and he'd be holding the
That's
top.
probably who's holding it in this picture.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And he would be lowering it down. Instead of using the gasket in between, he would use a flathead screwdriver because it was quite literally for him. He thought it was easier to work. So he would have a screwdriver to have it wedged in there in case, and he would slowly, you know, put it down.
See the screwdriver?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, make sure. Well, obviously, already found the picture now.
This will be up on our social.
That's some American shit right there.
Yeah.
That is something. Yeah.
So as
when your dad's like, hand me that screwdriver.
Now, like he had done this experiment a bunch of times. This particular day was the day that they were going to do some final tests, and they were actually going to take this sphere and use it for nuclear testing on another nuclear bomb. They were warning. That they were going to use. So, you know, Slotin was like, "Yeah, let me get some. I'm gonna get you."
What
some,
year was this,
know,
by the way?
This is 1946.
46?
We're May 21st, 1946.
Okay, cool. Carry on. I'm sorry.
So he, of course, one day fucks up. And
well, the man with the cowboy boots and the screwdriver messed up a spirit.
He said, "Oh,
science experiment." You don't say. Dag nabbit.
He said, "Dag gummit."
Oh, god dang it. So on this particular day, there were 7 other scientists in the room. And when he had dropped the sphere, it had hit critical mass. The same blue flash had happened. Naturally, all the other scientists in the room were like, "Oh shit, boys," and just got the fuck out of there.
As one does, yeah.
Louis Slotin had actually, he by himself while he was in the room, picked the sphere up, took it off, and had ordered the rest of the scientists to come back into the room.
What?
Because he wanted them to stand in the exact same spot that they were so he can mark it in chalk, measure the distance, and then measure how much radiation each person had gotten per distance from the spot of critical mass.
And that's what this chart is right here.
Oh, there's a chart for it.
There sure is.
So like he was
I like that we're like you're like gaining of the evidence we need for like the social media post as he's telling this whole tale here.
Makes my job
you can
easier.
imagine like
Because
the
it's
flash,
so ridiculous. Like it's just like okay, we're all about to die, but get back to where you were standing at so I can measure
Like,
how much dire.
Before you guys go to
Hold
the
on.
hospital, really quick.
hold the fuck up. This party ain't over, boys. Come on back here.
Come on back now, y'all.
Half hanging out of his mouth and shit.
We got work 8 hours of work, 8 hours of pay. Get back in here.
Don't you dare clock out.
That flash happened. He's God dang.
Hey, yo, jumping out. Come over, look at this shit.
Oh God.
Almost dropped my cigarette. Jeez,
Damn,
man.
almost dropped my Marlboro Red.
Oh God.
This is ridiculous.
So yeah, he
It's like
was
burn his cowboy hat off. Like done scuff my boots. I'm upset by this man right now. He's raised he's ruffling my feathers.
he's ruffling your feathers there, son.
So he's quoting to
Jeez.
say right after this flash happened, the first words that Lewis, by one of the other scientists, the physicist that was in the room, he said the first words that Slotin said was, "Well, that does it." And then, That was.
It's because he didn't hear him say "dag nabbit."
Yeah, Slaughton died 9 days later, at the age of 35,
Holy
of extreme radiation poisoning.
Yeah, no shit.
Wow.
Now, the other scientists, I actually didn't do a follow up to see how sick they had been, but I know basically most of them had experienced high radiation sickness, and eventually some of them had died of cancers caused to that. Like the security guard that I talked about in the first one, he died 33 years later, but he had leukemia. So they were like, it's probably had to do something with the radiation from that, that slowly had trickled down. 33 years later, he's,
The one guy who was like in the back of the room fucking around was like, thank God.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when you mentioned like the security guard was the one who got hit with radiation. I'm like, dude, this man was trying to do his job and prevent people from going and messing with the experiment.
Yeah.
And the one person who had the authority to go in there was the one who messed it all up.
Yeah, just fucked it up, man. I hope he slipped him a good tip or something.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I wonder what it.
It wouldn't have been worth it, but still.
Right, like, all right, dog. First and foremost, my bad. Here's $20. Get yourself a 6-pack and a burger.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
So I'm real sorry, man. I'm real sorry.
Like, all right, tell your children I said my bad.
You got Christmas coming up. What do your kids want?
Right. Because you ain't going to be allowed to see them. Shit, man. So
God damn.
Yeah. Real fucking. Now, a real fucking interesting fact
carry on.
About both of these scientists
Ridiculous.
is they both had done this experiment on a Tuesday, both done on a 21st. Both went to the same hospital because, of course, it was at the same lab in Los Alamos. Was sat in the same room and was cared by the same nurse.
Dude, imagine that nurse. Like the second guy comes in and she's like, what are y'all doing out there? What the hell?
Y'all had that figured out by now.
Again?
Yeah, and honestly, they were probably like, let's just reserve this room for the radiation room. Just
Yeah,
in
really.
case.
I mean, that's just...
Now, I've talked about how much radiation that the first guy got, the 510 rems. Now, they had classified this guy a little bit different. He had experienced 1,000 rads of radiation.
Another measurement.
Okay, so one rim and one rad are the same. Actually,
Okay, so
I do have that pulled up
this
here.
guy had experienced 1,000 rads of radiation, which, to give you a reference of that, at the point of explosion at Hiroshima, those people experienced half of that.
Whoa.
Yeah, a whole ass bomb dropped on them.
Yeah, but they experienced an explosive critical mass.
Sure.
Critical,
What do you think that feels like?
Not
Ooh,
good.
That's got the burning that's got to be. Because
Like-
it is quoted as the security guard said he felt a wave of heat. And there's a name for it. I really should have looked up the flash. It's called like ionized flash or something like
Yeah.
that. And it only happens in that particular kind of critical mass. But like I said, I could probably compare it to like getting a welding flash. You feel the heat. Imagine getting like a day's worth of sunburn, just like that.
Jeez.
Just by like somebody flickering a light. I would imagine.
Well,
it's in that realm.
I've seen like some of our friends when they get, it's like their face is all red and it's like,
Yeah,
ugh.
yeah. You can get like your skin, burned red in a couple seconds, from welding flash. And that's just a tiny little, we're talking about a 14-pound plutonium ball that was to be made into a fucking nuclear explosion. And we've gone over the stats of nuclear explosion in the past episode. So we already know how fucking, but like I said, this is the results of a reflective critical, that critical mass point, not an explosive one. So even though there's no imminent danger, that little bit of radiation, that's going to fuck you up there.
God damn.
You will not turn into Spider-Man.
And no one at any point was like, hey guys, maybe we should quit poking the demon ball.
So actually, no, they did not decide this.
Yeah.
So-
all right, next guy.
This
do
is how
not,
you know there were no women working there.
So instead of saying like, let's not,
And not only because women couldn't have those types of jobs,
oh God.
but obviously because somebody would have said something like,
Yes. Because one of us would have been like, y'all dumb. Y'all
like,
real dumb.
Why do you have a screwdriver?
Yeah.
Like, what
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Where you going with that screwdriver?
Yeah, she's just
Boy,
the
get back
clerk.
here.
She's like, I don't know what those boys do up there.
The one secretary.
Yeah,
She's just
like,
like,
smoking
you
cigarettes,
boys,
like-
you're so silly with your radiation.
Now, it's like
So ridiculous.
you would imagine after all of these two deaths that they've experienced, the multiple employees who have had radiation poisoning, one of the Manhattan Project scientists telling them to stop, that they would. So instead of figuring out a way to destroy this plutonium core at the end of
Plutonium.
God, I can't get that out. Plutonium.
Plutonium.
It's like how the Europeans say aluminum.
Aluminium.
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 Yeah.
It's like what's the currency in Canada? It's like
Loonies.
loonies and
And toonies.
loonies and toonies and plutonium.
Fucking dorks.
Says the guy saying plutonium.
It's funny because I don't even hear myself saying it like that. It sounds like completely normal to me, and I've probably been doing that all week.
Yeah.
Probably.
So instead of destroying this, they took this P239 plutonium core
There you go.
and had basically smelted it down and redistributed it in the military stockpile of fucking nuclear waste that they have.
Oh, okay.
To be used in several other nuclear bombs and testings that they were going to be doing from years and years to come.
Yeah, we did start blowing up bigger things after that, because if you look at just because I think it was shortly after this as we started testing the effects of nuclear bombs on some of our decommissioned naval ships. So they all right, so again, there were no women around for this shit.
Of course.
So at some point, what are you talking about redistributing? I know a bit about where that went.
Okay.
So it was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and we had, obviously World War II was over with, but we had some ships that were kind of damaged. We had some things that we weren't really going to be using for the remainder of ever because they were kind of out of date at that time. So it's like, well, what do we do with them? Like, well, we can, decommission them. We can sell them off for scrap. We could, melt them down. All these options. And then some dude in the back of it, I was like, hey, let's see what happens when you hit them with a bomb. So what happened is
He's just drunk as shit in the background.
like, hey,
Hey guys, I got
atom
an
bomb.
idea.
Yeah. Explosion.
and the thing was, it wasn't just one. It was several. So, they're like, okay, what happens if the bomb explodes in midair? An atom bomb in midair, what happens? Okay, write that down. All right, cool. It's like, okay. I got another idea. Let's put it underwater.
What happens if we can't blow it up underwater?
I wish I was joking. I'm
Yeah.
not.
The next they're gonna be like, let's throw it in a volcano.
Yeah.
Let's see what it does.
Let's dig like a really big hole.
They did that too, actually. I'm not joking. Like, what would happen if we made essentially a nuclear bomb?
These are cavemen experiencing evolution.
And
This is you'll wonder why the aliens have not visited us yet.
I'm not done yet, by the way. They're like, okay. Like, what if we put this nuclear bomb in an artillery shell?
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Let's make a really big grenade.
Oh jeez.
I'm not done yet.
Oh my god.
Again, like B so eloquently put, there were no women around for any of this shit. Like,
There was no supervision.
not at all.
They said, call my
Because-
wife, tell her I'll be late.
Like, what does he do today? Well, I put a nuke, a small nuclear warhead inside of a bazooka.
She's like, he's probably out cheating.
Nope,
He's
just
like-
blowing some shit up. Like,
What happens if I put this inside a cow?
Actually, that goes back to the naval experiments. So
Actually, I hate when you're like, actually. Like,
I want to be like, shut up.
I can't. You let me. You let it loose. All right. Because there were farm animals on those naval vessels.
Oh no.
It wasn't cows. It was mainly sheep, from what I'm aware of.
Poor sheep.
Yeah, they weren't edible. So it was crazy. Like they like the things they did to these boats, and what made it worse is they were irradiated to shit. They didn't sink though, so they kept trying to figure out how to blow them up and then the ship sink, because a lot of our nuclear waste was on the carrier that was there. So like, okay, well, we're gonna do all this waste. Like, I don't know, put it in a bottom of the ocean, I guess. Well, okay, cool.
Great
How
idea.
are we gonna do that? Well, put it in the carrier that we don't use it. We don't need it anymore. We can sink it, right? It's like, well, yeah, sure, but like, how are we gonna sink it? All right, hear me out.
Guys, I got another idea.
Right, I have, but wait, there's more. Yeah, the amount of shit that those pieces of the core went into.
Oh God,
is hilarious. Like
I can only imagine, man.
Yeah,
because like they called this the Demon Core because of all these experiments, and then they like. It's like the end of an Exorcist movie when they exorcise the fucking demon, but you don't know where the demon goes.
It just like goes up into the ether, and you're
it just goes back in.
It's not our problem anymore.
That's basically what they did, but they spread it amongst.
So, because you're talking about we're talking about 1946, so right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was 1946.
Yep.
It was called Operation Crossroads.
Wow,
Amazing.
Yeah, like so. I can't make this up. Like,
Let me write that
and
one down.
because it happened in Bikini Atoll.
Okay.
So the whole Bikini Bottom theory.
Yeah.
This is where it all
SpongeBob and his
came
friends
from.
are mutants.
I'm gonna write this
yeah.
episode down right here. Yeah.
It's all connected.
It is obviously.
So we were talking about like all
Sorry,
the
go ahead.
critical mass accidents. So there was, like I said, there were 60 critical mass accidents causing and more than 20 fatalities. 22 of these processes were environmental incidents, nuclear facilities. They're not testing for nuclear bombs. The remaining 38 of those were nuclear bomb testings in all different types of facilities and different types of ways. But that's quite a lot after the first 2 years of failed experiments.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like the guy going back at night. That's like the bloodthirst thing, because he was like, probably in his mind he was like, I could be God.
Yeah, probably.
If I can
That's
contain
right.
this
Like,
shit.
this is how I get my lizard powers.
Yeah, dude, he probably went in there butt ass naked.
But we make it. Like imagine the security guard. Like, okay.
Imagine the radiation poisoning on your dong,
I
though.
don't get paid enough
Like
for this shit, man.
you're in space.
There's so many injuries that can take place down there. By the way, just a real quick thing I was wondering about, like, I knew there was a lot of ships involved with the whole Operation Crossroads with the bomb ship. Yeah, there were 95 ships there.
God damn, man.
Jesus.
Oh man, it's so
These
great.
guys were bored as hell.
You have America's military budget,
Yeah, for real.
and then a bunch of dudes
Yeah.
trying to fuck around and find out with nuclear weapons.
We've talked about those numbers before.
We
some
are
of the
really gonna
military
like
budgets.
we're gonna kill ourselves as a species, aren't we?
I mean, it wouldn't be a stretch. Good
Yeah,
times.
it's like when you're walking down the street and your buddy isn't paying attention and he's about to walk into a sign or something, and you have the ability to be like, "Hey, look out," but you don't. You're like, I kind of wanted to see where this goes. That's basically like the U.S. military.
Wow.
That's like how I imagine the aliens are watching us.
Yeah.
They're like,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
these
whoa. They're about to do it. They're
fucking
about to-
apes just figured out nuclear
Yeah.
shit. And they're like, let's see how this plays out.
Watch this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. I would do the same thing. Like, they're about to do something
Yeah.
stupid.
Was it like there's like a college humor skit or something where it's like they have like a world simulation. This couple has like a world simulation, and it's like, oh look, they're discovering fire. Oh look, they're making language. Oh how cool! This is very cute. Wait, why are they? What is that? How did they find bombs? Why are they killing each other? Stop!
Gunpowder and fucking
Yeah, it went real quick.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's
we actually should
crazy.
talk about Operation Crossroads at some point.
Yeah, I got it on
You
there.
wrote that down. All right, cool. Because it's so asinine how much happened. Because it directly follows up this. Like
Yeah.
it's right after that.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice little because this was kind of cool too, because we had recently talked about some nuclear stuff, and I was like, oh, this is another hilarious fucking story that involves nuclear fucking explosions.
Like it's hilarious, not because of what happens to the people, but because the people were stupid enough to try it,
Just kept doing it, man.
Yeah, over and over
and
again.
they kept doing it.
Yeah, man. Just
It's like, hey, that stove's hot. You shouldn't touch it. And then
Yeah.
you have like a bunch of children continuing to do the same thing that they saw a last person get burned by.
yeah. Have you ever seen the movie?
The hubris of the human brain, I suppose. It's like,
Yeah, for
it won't
real.
happen to me. Got my cowboy boots on.
Got my cowboy boots on.
Have you ever seen the movie Mom and Dad Save the World?
No.
Nope.
It's these people, this family goes on vacation in a station wagon, and their car gets like sucked up into space.
I feel like you talked about this before.
Yeah, they end up on a planet, and everyone's stupid on the planet.
You
And,
talked about this
like,
before.
The military has a grenade weapon that says "Don't pick me up." And it's like, because everybody's stupid, like they just set it down, and if it picks you up, it just like fucking annihilates you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a scene where like 37 dudes had died in a row, like because they just kept like, and a dude would like be standing in the back, and he would like call for more backup. He'd be like, "We're gonna need some more guys out here to figure this shit out."
Something's happening.
I love when movies do scenes like that because it's true.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn true, man.
No, it's just like when people talk about the movie Idiocracy. I'm like, Idiocracy was a documentary. We just didn't know it yet.
Fun fact about Idiocracy, that movie was made in 2007, and in that movie, everybody is wearing Crocs.
Oh, I heard about that. They're
Yeah.
like, what is the like stupidest, ugliest shoe that we could possibly find? And then they were like new at the time, like they weren't popular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they found these shoes that were like, no one's gonna ever wear these. These are just
Yep. That movie
Look at us.
that movie's basically a documentary.
Yep.
yep.
Yeah, at this
Yeah.
point.
It's just sad, really.
Well, okay, so I did see something about Crocs, and like one of the things that makes them really comfortable is the fact that like most shoes are kind of pointed in the center, and Crocs, along with like a few other types of shoes, are like pointed where your big toe is, and then they like curve downwards, so they're the shape of an actual foot
Yeah, yeah. I see what you're
versus
saying.
like most normal shoes because they're more aesthetically pleasing if they point in the center
Oh, yeah.
because fashion, I guess.
Sure.
So like that's one of the reasons why Crocs are more comfortable. Science. You're welcome.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I'm
Yeah.
never, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The more you know.
I know, right? See, maybe we're not so stupid after all wearing Crocs.
Yeah, I don't.
You know, I had a pair of Crocs, and I don't like them because, like, if I wear them barefoot, I feel like they just make my feet sweaty.
Yeah, you don't want to. It's hard to wear Crocs because okay, I don't have Crocs, but I have the like rubber slides that are kind of Croc material.
Yeah.
You can't wear those barefoot.
Yeah, and I was like, I see motherfuckers wearing this shit barefoot all the time.
You can for like a minute, like if I'm running outside.
You musty, crusty
Musty
toed
toed.
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
it's gross. Like you get real sweaty.
I went behind the scenes to figure that secret out.
That is just, that's unsavory.
Yeah, I mean, I know if you're listening, you've been to a store or a Walmart and you've seen a motherfucking
Oh, yeah.
crusted up ass pinky toe or busted up
Sticking out
back
of
of
the
someone's
hole in
crusted up ass heel hanging out of a Croc.
Yeah.
And
Right.
don't tell me you're not picturing it
Make
right
sure
now.
you lotion your feet, people. It's important.
Yeah, take care of that.
The disrespect. I love it.
Or people have those little charms that they stick in the holes.
I got a
Crocs.
couple of those. The what are they called?
But then you don't even get any airflow. You know?
Right, you're cutting off the flow to your toes. They're already fucking busty, apparently.
Cutting the toe flow, man.
Yeah, that ain't the move.
No.
That ain't the move. It really ain't. So, you know.
The little butt plugs for your croc holes.
Man, we're gonna have to like extensively talk about Crocs in the Patreon episode.
I think so.
Yeah, write that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and write that down. All right. Well, anyways, I hope you all enjoyed that episode about the Demon Core. I hope you guys join us next time. We are next month. Well, we're starting next month soon, aren't we?
We got Spooky Month coming up. We
Hell yeah.
actually had sat down and fucking handpicked a bunch of just cool spooky shit. We did some spooky shit last year. We did some local stories. I think we did a true crime story. Didn't we do H.H. Holmes?
We did.
Yeah,
Yep.
we did a couple other cool things. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to try to bust out just a something special, something a little different each week, you know, but just in time.
Indeed. So, as always, we appreciate you guys giving us a listen. Please give us a like and follow on all your favorite social media platforms, and give us a rating on whatever you listen to us on. Give us a follow on there too. We come out with the episodes on Tuesdays, but we usually post about them later on in the afternoon that day. But if you follow us, you ain't gotta wait for a post. You'll just know that it's already out because you have an alert for it.
Yeah.
So give us a like on there, give us a follow, share us with your friends and your family that doesn't mind the F-bomb. And we hope to see you all hear you all next week with us.
And check us out on Patreon too. Again,
Indeed.
if you want more of this, but not necessarily specifically history focused.
Yeah, give us some reviews.
If you
See
like the
Tough
first
like
15
it.
minutes and
Yeah,
want to hear
yeah.
more than 15 minutes of that,
Then aftertaste is for you.
then Aftertaste is for you. It's $1 a month. You know, just don't buy a Snickers. You'll be fine.
Yep.
Anyways, as always, we appreciate y'all and have a good evening.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.